What's going on, guys? Let me know if you can hear me. Happy 4th of July. I have an emergency alert to share with you guys. 5x5. Okay, sounds good. Got some allergies here. It's very windy today and dry, all the pollen in the air. So I was going to actually make a video on this, but I decided to just do a very quick stream here because it is 4th of July. And I'm sure you guys got things going on, and I got to go see some fireworks in a little bit. But we have an emergency situation developing today in Ukraine. Absolutely insane. So if you didn't see my video update, I just posted a video about an hour ago. So you can watch that video after this stream is over if you want. But for those of you guys who didn't see the video and are not aware of what's going on, basically today, Zelensky and the Ukrainian military have said that Russia has placed some type of quote unquote objects on the roofs of all the reactors at the Zaporizhia nuclear power plant. Now, the Zaporizhia nuclear power plant is the largest nuclear power plant in Ukraine and in Europe. It has 6 nuclear reactors, okay? Absolutely massive nuclear power plant. It's actually one of the biggest nuclear power plants in the world. I don't know the exact ranking of it. I think it's in the top 10 or top 15 largest nuclear power plants in the world, okay? I think it's like number 9 or number 12, something like that. So this is a monster nuclear power plant, guys, okay? But so basically today, Ukraine said that Russia placed some kind of objects, okay? And when I say objects, I think you know what I mean. They're talking about explosives, okay? Apparently, Russia put explosives on the roofs of all of these reactors. And according to Ukraine, they did that on purpose. So this way they can blow those explosives and then blame Ukraine for it and say that it was a Ukrainian artillery strike and that it wasn't the Russians, basically. So hold on one second, guys. I just got to get a charger. My computer's about to die. One moment. All right, sorry about that. Computer was about to die. So basically, Ukraine is saying that the Russians have placed explosives on the roofs of all the reactors and that the Russians are going to blow those explosives very soon. And they're going to blame Ukraine for it and say that it was Ukrainian artillery or Ukrainian missile. And the purpose of that would be so the West stops supplying Ukraine with equipment, because if Russia can prove that Ukraine shelled the nuclear power plant, then the West may be hesitant to give more weapons to Ukraine, especially the long-range weapons that Ukraine really wants, okay? So this is very serious. This is very concerning, but I have some updated information, okay? I don't know if this is old school TNT or nuclear. I'm not sure about that yet, but I want to just share some updated information. So we now have also the main power line to the power plant was disconnected today. Okay, the main power line. So there's two lines to the nuclear plant. There's the main line, which is 750 kV, and then they have a backup line that's 330 kV. And what's interesting is yesterday, the IAEA reported that the backup line was suddenly reconnected, and they were celebrating that as a success. And then today, the main line was disconnected. We don't know why it was disconnected. We have no idea. There's no information because the Russians are in control of the nuclear power plants. So we don't know what's going on. And the IAEA has observers there apparently. But today, the main power line that goes to the power plant was disconnected. And I find that very, very suspicious because why would all of a sudden, yesterday they hook up this backup line and then today they shut off the main line. And then now the Russians are saying that Ukraine is going to use a Tochka missile to attack the Zaporizhia nuclear power plant tomorrow. Okay, that's the emergency alert. Okay, the emergency alert is that Russia is claiming, okay, this is coming from the Russian side. I'm not saying this is going to happen. I'm saying what Russia is claiming is that tomorrow night, July the 5th, Ukraine is going to launch a Tochka ballistic missile at the Zaporizhia nuclear power plant. And I don't believe that personally, but that's what the Russians are saying. And if you remember last week, all the news about how Russia was evacuating people from the power plant, that the Russians were telling the managers at the power plant and even the employees there that they have until July 5th to leave. So this is very, very suspicious, guys. It's very suspicious that Russia would suddenly disconnect the main power line and hook up the backup power line. And then all of a sudden today, they're saying that Ukraine is going to suddenly launch a Tochka missile on July the 5th. And I just find it very suspicious. And then the fact that they were going to have everybody evacuated by July the 5th is very, very suspicious. So very weird, guys. Very weird. Okay, so let me summarize again all the weird things about this. Okay, number one, the main power line has been disconnected today, but the backup line was reconnected yesterday. Very weird. Number two, Russia said last week that they want all of the employees at the plant gone by July the 5th, which is tomorrow. Number three, Russia is now saying that Ukraine plans to launch the Tochka missile at the power plant tomorrow, July the 5th, the same day that all the employees were supposed to be out of there. Okay. Now, there's some other suspicious things going on, but I'll get to that in a minute. We have pictures showing up, and these pictures are coming from Energodar. Okay. Energodar is the city where this nuclear power plant is. And apparently, these pictures are showing Russian mobile radiation detection vehicles, okay, and radiological response vehicles, okay. And here's one of them. This was somewhere in Energodar, okay. So that's pretty concerning. But let me read to you what the Russian news agency is saying. Also, the wind conditions over the next couple of days are very favorable if Russia wants to do this, or whoever wants to blow this plant. If they want to blow it, the next couple of days is very favorable because the winds are going from the northeast to the southwest, and that would blow the radiation right over into the Black Sea, and it would avoid Russia and it would avoid Romania. Okay, so it might not trigger Article 5. Okay, and I'm going to show you guys the wind map in a minute here, and then I'm going to show you the update from the IAEA. All right, So here's the update that was just posted today from TASS. This is the Russian news agency, the state-funded news agency. Ukraine may attack Zaporizhia nuclear power plant with bombs stuffed with radioactive waste on July the 5th. Advisor to the CEO, Renat Karcha, said that the attack of the armed forces of Ukraine could occur at night. Okay. Ukraine will try to attack the Zaporizhia nuclear power plant in the coming night by dropping bombs loaded with radioactive waste removed from the southern Ukraine NPP on July the 3rd. So they're saying that they took radiation from a nuclear power plant in southern Ukraine. I'm guessing they're referring to the one near Kryvyi Rih. And they took radioactive waste from that one, and they're going to put that on the Tochka missiles and then launch them. Renat Karcha, an advisor to the Director General of Russia's Rosenergoatom nuclear power engineering company, said on Tuesday. In the nighttime on July the 5th, Ukrainian troops will try to attack the Zaporizhia nuclear power plant. The use of high precision long range weapons and kamikaze drones, okay, with the use. All right, so they're going to use long range precision weapons and kamikaze drones. That's what the Russian media is saying. Okay, that's what Russian state media is saying. I'm not saying that that's what's going to happen. I'm reporting to you what the Russians are saying. Okay, so Ukraine is saying one thing, Russia is saying another, but you can see that there's a buildup here. Okay, so you can decide for yourself who to believe. Do I believe Ukraine? Do I believe Russia? You can decide for yourself. I have my own opinion. I'm not forcing my opinion on anyone. There's a lot of people out there that say I'm pro-Ukraine and I'm biased. And yeah, I am pro-Ukraine. I support the Ukrainian people. I don't support Zelensky or his government. I don't care about that. I care about the Ukrainian people that are being killed by Putin's bombs. Okay, so I'm allowed to have an opinion just like anybody else. All right, so I'm not forcing my opinion on you. You can decide what you want to believe, but that is my opinion. Okay, and if you can't respect my opinion, then leave. Don't watch my channel. Okay, because I'm not going to change for anybody, and I'm certainly not going to tolerate verbal abuse. Okay, so here's the information. Okay, this is what Russia is saying. Okay, in the nighttime on July the 5th, Ukrainian troops will try to attack the Zaporizhia nuclear power plant with the use of high precision, long range weapons and kamikaze drones. He said in an interview with the Rossiya 24 television channel, they plan to airdrop bombs stuffed with radioactive waste that were removed from the South Ukraine nuclear power plant to a military airfield in Ukraine. Okay. So I guess maybe Russia has intelligence. I don't know. The standby bombing plan provides for the use of a Tochka U high precision rocket with a warhead stuffed with radioactive waste. If this madness doesn't stop, there will be a big catastrophe, he stressed. He said earlier on Tuesday night, Ukraine disrupted power supplies to the Zaporizhia nuclear power plant via the Dnipropetrovsky electricity transmission line. Znpp director Yuri Chernychuk said later that power was restored by 2 p.m. So maybe this is that main line that I was telling you guys about. I don't know. But this is very concerning, okay? Very concerning. So this is what Russia is saying. Russia is saying that Ukraine is going to airdrop bombs stuffed with radioactive waste that they removed from the South Ukraine nuclear power plant, and they're going to drop them over the nuclear power plants. And then they're also going to use a Tochka U with a warhead stuffed with radioactive waste. And then the Ukrainians, Zelensky and the Ukrainian military are saying that the Russians put bombs on the roofs of all these power plants, so this way they can blame Ukraine for it. So that's what the two sides are saying. Okay. Let me read to you what the IAEA released today. Okay. Update number 170. IAEA Director General statement on the situation in Ukraine. Ukraine's Zaporizhia nuclear power plant lost the connection to its main external power line early this morning, forcing it to rely on recently restored backup power supplies for the electricity it needs for essential nuclear safety and security functions. Director General Rafael Grossi of the IAEA said the ZNPP's sole remaining 750 kV line out of 4 available before the conflict was disconnected at 1:21 a.m. local time. It was not immediately known what had prompted the power cut or how long it would last. Okay, very, very concerning. The disconnection of the 750 kV power line meant the ZNPP had to switch to its only available 330 kV backup power line for off-site electricity that is required, for example, to pump cooling water. The 330 kV line was only reconnected to the plant on July the 1st after being damaged 4 months ago. This time, the plant avoided a complete loss of all external power, which has happened 7 times previously during the conflict. But the latest power line cut again demonstrates the precarious nuclear safety and security situation, blah, blah, blah. So this guy, Rafael Grossi, he was on TV the other day, and he said on TV that he doesn't believe what Ukraine is saying, that there's explosives there. He was kind of like denying it, shrugging it off. I mean, he wasn't like denying it in a way to like say 100% that, yeah, that's BS, but he was kind of like not believing it. I should do a nuclear siren for the beginning of the videos. Yeah, I do have a nuclear siren. I'm just not using it now because I have to lay low for a little bit because YouTube gave me some strikes. So I don't know if somebody would report that or something, or they would try to go after me for that, saying that I'm causing alarm or some BS. Thanks for the gifted memberships, Mama of 6. I appreciate that. I did notice a lot of new members, so thank you guys for joining. Thanks to all the existing members. I will start to do some members-only streams, by the way. Let me show you the wind map here. Okay, this is a wind map. All these like little lines here are showing where the wind is, okay, where the direction of the wind is. And you can see right now the wind is coming from the northeast and it's going to the southwest. So now is like the perfect time to do this because the winds are very gentle. We don't have very strong winds here. We have a 4-knot wind. Okay, so let's just put a flag right here. Where's that thing here? Right here, Energadar. Right here. Okay, so we have a 4-knot wind and it's coming out of the northeast. So that is a very weak wind. Okay, and because it's coming out of the northeast, it's going to blow any fallout away from Russia. So now would be a perfect time to do it. And also because it's very weak, it wouldn't go into Crimea that much. It wouldn't blow as much into Crimea because it's a 4-knot wind. Okay, so that's a very weak wind. I don't know how many miles per hour that would be, but I'm guessing that's probably like 6 miles per hour. Let me see here. It's 4.6 miles per hour. Okay, so that's a 5 mile per hour wind. That's like nothing. You'll barely feel that on your skin. That's like 5 mile per hour wind is like, a very light breeze. You would just start to feel on your skin a little bit, a very light breeze. Okay. But it's coming out of the northeast, so it's favorable. It's favorable conditions. If you're Russia and you want to blow this plant, favorable conditions, or either side, whatever side you believe. Like I said, I have my own opinions. I'm entitled to them. And again, if you can't respect my opinions, then please leave. Okay, I'm not going to tolerate any verbal abuse here. But whatever side you think is going to do it, the conditions are favorable now because it's not going to go into Europe and it's not going to go into Russia, and the winds are very weak. Okay, so now if we go to tomorrow you can see the same conditions. We have a wind coming out of the northeast, uh, going to the southwest. Uh, so Tommy M says thanks for all the updates. Let me see here. So tomorrow you can see the wind conditions are still the same, still 5 knot wind, but then tomorrow night the wind goes from the north more. It kind of switches more north. You can see tomorrow night more north, and then a little more east, but more or less the wind kind of stays the same. It's either north or east or northeast for the next few days. Now, obviously, if Russia's looking to do this, then they're going to do it before that Vilnius summit, which is next week. The summit in the NATO summit is next week. Okay, it's about a week from today. So obviously, if you're Russia, now would be the best time to do it, right before that summit. But you can see the winds are favorable for Russia. By Thursday, the winds start to come straight from the east, and they go east to west. So that may be a little. That may also still be favorable for Russia, provided that it doesn't go into Europe, because then it'll trigger Article 5, because that's what Lindsey Graham and Richard Blumenthal said. They said that if this power plant were to be blown, that it would trigger Article 5 of NATO. So NATO would get involved. Okay. So you can see here, though, that the winds are out of the east for for Thursday. They start to go into the east, so that could still be favorable for Russia, because it would blow the fallout into the center of Ukraine, and that would damage more of Ukraine rather than going to Crimea. So either way you cut it, the winds are favorable over the next couple of days for Russia to do this. Looks like it's going to be very hot in Ukraine on Thursday. They're showing temperatures of 91 degrees in Dnipro, 95 in Kherson. Wow, that is crazy. Wow. I don't know if they made a mistake there, but yeah, you can see an east wind. Okay, Thursday night, an east wind, northeast wind. So, it's favorable. It's definitely favorable to do this now. And then what's interesting is they're showing this wind here in Poland coming from the west, which is very common in the summer months. You have this wind that comes from the west, and it goes into Poland and these Baltic countries, and that's from the Gulf Stream. The warm water from the Gulf Stream comes in, and you get that breeze. So that would blow the fallout away from NATO. Okay, but you can see over here, the fallout would go from east to west or northeast to southwest. Okay, and so this is favorable for Russia to do it. It's certainly not blowing towards Russia, so that's a good sign. But you can clearly see a east or northeast wind here. And then over the weekend, this coming weekend, the wind switches to a north wind, and it goes from north to south. Okay, you can see here this wind coming directly from the north, going north to south. You see that? So by the weekend, the winds come from the north, and then they go south. So that may not be favorable as much for Russia to do this, because then it would blow over Crimea, and potentially get into Western Russia over here, like by Krasnodar and Rostov and those areas. Um, but looks like even like a northwest wind by Saturday. Yeah, northwest wind by Saturday night. Let's see, Sunday night north wind. Sunday or morning, also a north wind. Sunday afternoon, also north wind. Let's see, Sunday night, northwestern wind. So by Sunday night, it's not as good for Russia to do this because it would blow towards Russia by Sunday. So really, they have the next couple of days, and I'm sure that they were looking at the meteorological reports, planning this all out, you know. Um, so pretty crazy situation. What's going on, Earth Angel? How's it going? So crazy situation, guys. Wanted to just report this to you. Okay, the wind is favorable over the next couple of days. And based on what we heard, you can see by Monday, the wind becomes more northwest. So that's not good for Russia to do it because the wind is going to come from the northwest and the radiation would go right into Russia. Monday night, same thing. Next Tuesday, same thing. Also, like a west northwest. And by next Tuesday, it becomes like more west and south even. So then by next Tuesday, it would not be good at all for Russia because the radiation would go all the way into Russia. So really, the next couple of days seem to be the window of opportunity for Russia to do this if it is in fact Russia that's planning it. See, look, by next Wednesday, when the NATO summit's going to start, the wind is already directly west in Ukraine. You see that? So that means any radiation will go right into Russia. So yeah, so the next couple of days is going to be the sweet spot for Russia to pull this off if it is in fact Russia that's planning this. I'm not 100% sure what's going on here, but you can make up your own mind. Here are the wind conditions. Like I said, the wind conditions are favorable over the next couple of days through Sunday. Through Sunday, the wind conditions are favorable. By Sunday, the wind is not as favorable. Okay. And if Russia wants to pull this off, they're going to do it before the NATO summit. Okay. They want to do this before the NATO summit. So this way, it could derail the chances of Ukraine getting NATO membership. That could be one motivation for Russia to do this, is they're worried about Ukraine getting some kind of NATO membership next week or conditional NATO membership. There's a lot of people that are saying that they're going to get some kind of conditional membership. And because a conditional membership would mean that NATO is basically NATO is inviting Ukraine to join once the war is over. Once Ukraine wins the war, then they would become a full-fledged member. So it would make sense for Russia to stage some kind of a false flag attack before this summit, so then they can blame it on Ukraine, and then the West is not going to extend an offer to Ukraine to join NATO. Okay, so that would be the rationale for Russia doing it. Okay, again, that's my opinion. That's what people are saying. I'm not saying that that's what's going to happen. I don't know. This is all just speculation. We don't know. Okay, nobody knows except God Himself. So you can have your opinion, but I have mine, and I'm not going to change it for anyone unless I have good information to make it change. So this is very concerning, guys. I am very, very concerned about this. It could happen tonight. It could happen tomorrow. It looks like tomorrow might be the day. They definitely want to do it before the NATO summit. That's for sure. If Russia is going to do it, they're going to do it before the summit. If Ukraine is going to do it, I don't know when they would do it, but from the Russian side, it would make the most logical sense to do it before the NATO summit. So this way, NATO doesn't offer them membership. But we'll have to wait and see what happens. This is just an absolutely crazy situation, guys. Absolutely crazy. Um, so, uh, we just have to make sure we're preparing as best as possible. Um, but that's pretty much the latest information that I have on the situation here. Um, so I hope you guys are having a great weekend, great 4th of July, and it looks like something could happen tomorrow. We'll have to wait and see, but it looks like it could happen tomorrow. Zelensky had a phone call with NATO and with Stoltenberg today, and he also had a phone call with Macron. So that's kind of concerning. Ukraine was also doing radiological preparation drills, practicing decontaminating and stuff like that. All right. But, as you can see, the wind conditions are favorable. Okay. That's something to remember. The wind conditions are favorable the next 3 to 4 days. So we'll have to wait and see. But, that's pretty much all I have. I'll continue to monitor the situation. And I hope you guys have a great 4th of July. What's going on, New York Adventurer, Mama of Six, Bam Bam, Suspicions, Off Grid Desert Farming? Great to see you in here. Mr. Enigma is asking me, what do you think about Prigozhin going after the nukes in Belarus to take control of the war? He could be training troops there in disguise to help him. Yeah, I don't know what the deal with Prigozhin is going to Belarus. I have no idea about that. It's very bizarre, the whole situation there. And as far as like taking control of nukes, I mean, yeah, who knows? He could try to overthrow Belarus. Maybe he thinks he would have a better chance at overthrowing Belarus and then taking control of Belarus. I mean, you just don't know. Anything is possible. So I don't want to rule anything out with him. But I personally don't think he's going to go to Ukraine all of a sudden. That's just my opinion. I don't think he's going to send Wagner to Ukraine now. I mean, it's possible he could. But, what would be the purpose of staging a whole fake rebellion just to move 8,000 troops to Belarus? I mean, they could do that without staging a rebellion, and causing chaos. So I don't think it was staged. A lot of people were saying that that was all 4D chess and that it was Putin and Prigozhin, staging the whole rebellion. I personally don't believe that. I think they really do hate each other. And I think it was genuine. I just think that Prigozhin lost his nerve. And I think the idea of the rebellion was more sexy to him than the actual fight itself. Once he got there and he realized, like, oh crap, this is the real deal. I think then he just kind of lost his nerve and said, it's not worth it for me. I'm just going to go retire in Africa or whatever, or maybe he's going to go back to Russia again. Who knows, in the future with a better, maybe he's waiting. Prigozhin could be waiting for Russia to weaken a little bit more. He might just sit there in Belarus and he may wait for the Ukrainian counterattack. If at all, if that counterattack is ever going to come, I don't know. It doesn't look like it's going to happen this year. Everybody was saying that the counterattack was going to happen. It's looking more and more likely like the counterattack is not going to happen. Based on what Zaluzhny said, the general of Ukraine, he said that they don't want to start the counterattack because they don't have jets and long-range missiles. And he said that it would be like slaughter for his own troops to just send them out there without being fully prepared. And then one of the commanders in NATO, Rob Bauer, he's from the Netherlands. He said that Ukraine is not going to get the jets or the long range missiles until they do the counterattack. So it's almost like NATO is forcing Ukraine to fight with one hand tied behind its back. And I personally believe that that was a direct response to what the general of Ukraine said, because the general of Ukraine threatened. He said, listen, we're not going to send 100,000 of our men just to die because you guys don't want to send us a few jets or a few long range missiles. You're making us fight under conditions you would never fight under, And he said that. He's like, I'm not going to send all my men to their deaths with inadequate equipment. And then, NATO, that one commander, Rob Bauer, said, oh, we're not going to give you jets and missiles until you do this counterattack. So it's like they're pushing them to do it. So I don't know what's going to happen with this counterattack. It may not happen this year. Maybe they're going to delay it. I mean, I don't know. It doesn't seem like it's going to happen. I don't know. This is just my opinion. This is not fact. Okay. This is purely speculation by me. I'm not saying that this is what's going to happen. It's my opinion. I don't think we're going to see this big counterattack this year anymore. I thought we were, but it doesn't look like it may happen. I could be wrong, and maybe it will. I don't know. But it's not looking like it right now. It's already July the 4th, and where is the counterattack? It hasn't even started yet. So, so that's pretty much it, guys. Gonna wind it down. Wanted to just give you guys this update. God bless the United States of America, best country in the world. Celebrate your independence. And I'll definitely keep you guys updated on the situation. Russia is no match for the USA. Yeah, that's right. Russia is no match for the USA, and they know it. Russia knows that they're no match for the USA. Their only hope is potentially now because we have Biden in control, and Biden's not exactly he's not what I would call a wartime president. He's not like Ronald Reagan or someone that, would really respond, if something were to happen. But, Russia knows that they have no chance against the U.S. in a straight up fight. They have no chance, and they know that. That's why they're constantly threatening nuclear war every week. Nuclear war. This is going to cause nuclear war. This is going to cause nuclear war. That's going to cause nuclear war. That's all they do is threaten nuclear war every day. Every day they threaten nuclear war. I think Medvedev has said that this is going to cause nuclear war like 100 times already. And that's because they know that that's their only chance is to launch nukes at us. They know that, in a regular war they would have no chance, and that's just the facts. You can look at the information, and there's a lot of different things you can look at, but it's true. So that's pretty much it, guys. I'm going to keep you updated. I'm going to wind down the live stream because it's 4th of July and I have some fireworks to go to and celebrations and things. But I hope you guys are having a great 4th of July and a great weekend. Nebraska Lady Prepper says, thank you for the update. No problem. Mr. Landfill says, just got home. We'll have to rewatch. New York Adventurer says, land of the free, home of the brave. Mama Lucia says, Chernobyl disaster. Benjamin says, Greg, we are really in trouble. So thanks to all the mods for showing up on such short notice. I appreciate you. Earth Angel Anna, thanks for tuning in. And Lorna, Lee Billy, Mama of Six, Bam Bam, thank you guys so much. Lynn Dunn, great to see you. Chris Bacon, Blake Hopper, Off-Grid Desert Farming, Vermont Prepper, thank you guys. Appreciate you all. Thanks to all the members. And I'll keep you guys updated. Take care. God bless. And don't forget the 3 Ps: prepare, practice, and persevere.